Hello, welcome to Frank's School, 165th day of the 4th year. First video. It was the same day as 164 in reality, in real time, in traveling. But I decided I'd trying to think what's reasonable with a class period. For example, in a school, public school. Benfeita. Benfeita is a little tiny town, and beyond. We drive past Benfeita a little bit, and Fraga da Pena. Fraga da Pena is a series of waterfalls, and more. I mean, we were delighted. We were delighted to find it was not just a pretty waterfall, as you'll see. Well, Benfeita seems a little bit like a little tiny paradise where we were. We went down to where the water was and then drove on. We actually skipped the town. I'm sure the town's lovely too, but I wanted to see the terracing and the quintas. A quintal, quinta. Both of these words are used singular, and I'm not actually sure the difference. Maybe in my mind a quintal is a little larger than a quinta. I'm just not sure about that. But anyway, they're the same word. And you know, I mentioned a tennis court. Actually, that might be a little tiny soccer field or place to play what we would call indoor soccer. That's, I think, more likely. It seemed really odd that there would be a tennis court there, and I got thinking about that. It was about the right size and had lines on it, but I'm pretty sure that's a little community soccer stadium. I'd bet on it. Now, polyculture versus monoculture. I very much wanted to see the terraces, and I film a lot of them. And the terraces in this area, and also in Minho, which is way in the north of Portugal, interest me much more than the terraces along the Douro River, which is where all the grapes are grown to supply port. Port wine is taken down to the city of Porto, or Oporto, and so much goes to England. Those terraces are devoted to monoculture, where you grow really one crop. And the bulldozed terraces that I saw, they were going to be devoted, it seemed to me, I think they probably certainly, to eucalyptus, a single species. Well, polyculture is different. Polyculture, you grow many different kinds of plants in a small area. And actually, I guess I didn't write it down here, but if you're interested in that, 2 years ago in Braga, Shirley and I went and visited that. Maybe I'll find a link for that and put it in the description, where there is a quintal dedicated to teaching young children in the city of Braga, but showing how that kind of farming was, because they're proud of it. A quintal. So anyway, I'll put a link in for that in the description. Now, woofing and permaculture leading to central Portugal. Woofing is now, they've changed the name. It used to be Willing Workers on Organic Farms. There might be two W's here, I'm not sure. Now it's Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms, where volunteers go to work for free, just for their room and board on organic farms. You know, I say QV, check it out. And then permaculture is another site that if you check out, that's interesting too. Well, when you go to those sites and you look at where in the world are people doing these kind of things, I was a little surprised to find that you're led to Portugal, and really central Portugal. That it seemed to be a hot spot for that kind of stuff. First of all to Europe, and then to the Iberian Peninsula, and then more specifically to Portugal, and then central Portugal. And I wondered why. It's one of those things. Last year I had thought about traveling to Portugal by myself, which would have been a bad idea, renting a car and going up there to explore and figure out what's going on. Why do they have them? Well, anyway, you could just check these out if you want. And I can't finish that story. There are a lot of places, especially for woofing there. I wrote down fire because fire is a real danger up in that area. And one of the plaques that I filmed, don't stay long on it, has to do with a public announcement about fire danger and stuff. Those pine trees, since it's monoculture, I mean, other places that have all kinds of diverse trees with different kind of leaves, there's one thing, but those pines, if they get going, it's a real problem. And so anyway, yeah, you'll see that. And I already said we skipped the town. All right, the terraces. Well, that was what I really wanted to see, and I did. I got to see it up in the mountains of Portugal, terracing. I would have loved to see much more, but I'm satisfied. I saw it. How old are they? I don't think anybody really knows. I don't think they know. There are way back prehistoric sites from, I don't know, maybe 10,000 BC, a little higher up on that very same mountain in the area of Piodão. And we did not get there, so I didn't go to see that. But people have lived in that area for a very, very long time. So how old are the terraces? When did people learn to make them? I'm not sure. I don't know if anybody really knows. I'd like to know. Now, I say here there's a continuum. The stonework. I mean, it's one thing to have a bulldozer and go along and bulldoze terraces on a hillside in soft ground. It's quite something else to lay up all those stone retaining walls. And that's what you're looking at there. And the retaining walls, they sort of go right into the houses. There's a continuum there. But also into the mills. There's two videos coming today. One is Benfeita and the road, from the road, and the other, Fraga da Pena. Well, here in Fraga da Pena, there are in ruins, I didn't count them, but quite a few little mills, stone mills. And the stonework in perching these little tiny mills in awkward positions. And there, I don't think there was any mortar. I don't think, in those mills. But it's a continuum. At one point out, you'll hear me say, these guys were good. Yeah, with stone, they sure were. And I say compared to Picon and Folon in Galicia, QV, I will give you that site. I will give you a link to that. Shirley and I, 2 years before, had traveled up into Galicia, which is the part of Spain north of Portugal. And no sooner had we gotten into Galicia than we went and visited a site of Picon and Folon, where there are 55, I think, little tiny mills, one right after the other, using water, falling down the mountainside. Spectacular and gorgeous, and I highly recommend you look at that site. Now, if you do, as I say, compare it to what's in Fraga da Pena. This is fixed up and easy walking, and it really a very enjoyable video to watch, I think. So I recommend that highly. All right, no Piodão. We didn't get there. We had a discussion about it. Piodão is famous. It's been honored. It's a UNESCO historic site or something. A spectacular aldea do xisto. A little large maybe for my taste, but I had wanted to see it, but we didn't. This was our high water mark, and Thomas basically, I can still hear him saying, "This is very nice, Fraga da Pena. This is very nice. Let's let this be where we, as far as we go, and we need to go back." And he was right, because we had to drive all the way back to Coimbra. Remember, if you would ever decide to do something like this, even if it's more expensive, I recommend finding a lodging in Arganil or one of those towns near there, so you're not having to go all the way back to Coimbra. We tried, but you could only do so much, and so we settled on Coimbra. Well, there you go. Back to the city next time. Bye for now.